welcome back to our end of the year question answering session. I am in the midst of cleaning out electronics. The cords, all the cords that you have, I'm in the process of trying to make sense out of the madness that I have that was in this bucket and is now all over my working desk. There's a lot of electronic recycling, a lot of stuff I just don't think I need anymore. Anyway, going through that, but let's get to the question. I gotta read it. So, in which ways do you think you've grown this past year? How are you different from a year ago? And in which new ways do you want to grow this next year? What character trait or skill would you like to develop more? I think one of the things that I was successful at this year was really inviting the idea of the pause. So in two separate ways. When you're talking to someone and they're having a lot of emotions or venting or wanting you to have a response, I've put in a pause where I just don't say anything. I'm just quiet. I'm just listening. And I would like to develop that skill more, actually. I'd like to develop my listening skills better. I was raised to have an answer. I mean, my siblings were 11 and 12 years older than I was, and my parents obviously were adults, so it was a very adult household, and they, to keep up, you had to be part of the conversation, and I always felt compelled to be part of it and have to have an answer for everything. And I'm trying to break that habit, actually, and just trying to let conversations happen and just listen and then have a response. And the way for me to do that is to kind of have a pause. The second way I do that, the pause, is I instituted a rule that if you send me a sort of heated email or text or voicemail that isn't anything that has to be done today or isn't an emergency, almost nothing I do is an emergency, actually, I am waiting 24 to 48 hours before I respond, because I have found that I don't need to have quick responses, and it lessens some of the heat. You know what I mean? Some of the intensity. And I think that's been really helpful, is to sort of create this space. So I'm doing that. I've instituted the pause, and I think it's funny because I'm in menopause, 55, and so I'm in menopause, and I think it's funny that one of the skills is to create pause. So maybe there's something to that, to create the pause. And then, like I said, for the next year, I would really like to further deepen my listening skills, in deep listening, to allow people to feel heard. I really want to do that. I really want to work on that. And so I will be. I will be. You should, if you want to, you have to actually do it. So, yeah. Yeah, what about you? What are some things that you did this year differently than you've done? What came to play that really you saw a difference or made a difference in your life? I'm curious, what you invited in and then what you'd like to invite in for next year. It's a good question, actually. Anyway, I'm going to get back to cleaning up the mess of the electronic stuff, cords, and I still have a cold. If we're keeping track, I still have a cold, but I'm hoping to be done with it soon, right? I'm doing all the things. If you have any super cold elixir you think I should be doing, I'd be more than happy to hear what that is. Anyway, thanks, and I'll see you tomorrow.